Welcome. Folks. Earlier, I'm not sure. It shows sound without my lavalier mic on here. Let me see if I played with it today, and now it's been a little finicky. Testing. This works. Can you guys hear me with just this? With just the mic? Because it's showing that that's working. I think there's something up with my lavalier. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's my little mic. I will just put this one on. I can just clip this onto my shirt. Let's see here. Well, I'll have to find a spot for it. I don't know if that's too loud, but it's right underneath my... It's not as pretty. It's pretty low volume. Let me see here. I can turn this up here. How about this? Is this a little bit better, guys? Can you guys hear me? You can hear with the little mic. I really would like this to work. Let me see. I'll try it one more time. It should work. I've been using this for months, and all of a sudden I unplugged it and changed something. That it's working for me. Let's see. Can you guys hear this? Readings on it. If you this little mic right here. Is this working, guys? Ooh, it's looking like it's working now. I'm hoping this works. It looks like it's showing up now. Yes, but it pops. Well, that's frustrating. Let me see what I'm hearing. Oh, I can hear the pop. Sorry, guys. A little technical difficulty. I don't think it's popping something up. I'm going to get a new thing with this. Okay. I'm going to turn this one off and put a new one on. So just a sec. Okay. Let's see if this one pops. And it might be that one of my Rode mics is out. I'm on with the other new mic on. Might be working. Oh, it's popping. Okay, at least I know it's my lavalier and not my actual Rode mic. All right. I'm going to mute myself over here, and I'm thinking I'm good to go with the way the mic is, and I'll have to buy a new lavalier mic. Yay! But that's what that money goes to, with all your guys' support helping this channel. I really appreciate it. I'm going to welcome everyone in, say hi to everybody. I got Agnes here. Hello. So glad you're on vacation. I got Paula, Janelle. Whoops. And then we got Peg here. Hello, Peg. Lynn. Welcome, Lynn Ellis. Katie. And Regina, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, Regina. Okay, I think I'm good to go. Cameron says I'm good to go, so I'm going to trust that. Thank you, honey. I really appreciate your help. Well, at least we took up some time while you guys were all rolling in here. I'm really excited about this piece. First off, it is a 12 by 12, and it's a little smaller. I wanted to do a 16 by 16 like this one right here that we did a while back. Let me get it up here for you guys. I think you can see this in the camera. So I did this one, it's 16 by 16, and this is the vibe that I'm going to be going with, but I changed the theme a little bit. And you're going to be able to see the full process if you're a Pastel Insider. I've already filmed all the beginning things and recorded all of that for the behind the scenes. So this is a 12 by 12, and then one of you guys mentioned in one of my lives about doing frogs, and I thought, I'm going to take that challenge on, and this is how my brain works by doing frogs. So I've never painted frogs before. I'm living on the edge here. You guys are going to be with me. I've played with some little color selections. I'm working on, for those of you who are new, a UArt sanded pastel paper. It's 600 grade. UArt comes in multiple grades. This is a fine grade. It works really well with my soft tools. I really highly suggest trying the soft tools out, and the dollar store makeup sponges don't compare to these wonderful soft tools. They are reusable. You can wipe them off on your microfiber towel or your paper towel, and you just can change colors. I use one wand, maybe two throughout the, I have quite a few of them, but I usually would just use one or two wands. And I basically want to kind of go with a whole collage vibe, so it looks like there's papers behind it. I have a mixed media background. This is a lot of fun for me, and I want to incorporate stencils. I had a lot of people talking about that they went all in and bought a whole bunch of stencils, and they want to play with them. So I'm using PanPastel, which is a high density, a high pigmented, ultra soft pastel. PanPastel is the brand name. Love you, PanPastel. Love the whole line. I've selected around 24 colors here on the tray. I have them all listed below, and I also listed below, if you order from Mary Artist, you get an additional 10% off by using coupon code DAWNVS. They have amazing prices, probably some of the best prices online in the US. They ship in the US, and they really ship them with a lot of care, and they're fast. So if you use that coupon code, you'll get that extra deal. I have on that link in my description below, I also have, it leads you to the link of all my favorite colors and my favorite supplies and all of that. So I have gotten this all drawn up. This took about a day's worth of work going from scratch like this. And I have also created line art for this whole piece for my Pastel Insiders. That is a new membership that I've launched that includes all of the behind the scenes video. It includes line art for the week, and I load that new stuff in every Friday. So then you can work at your own pace. The Pastel Insider membership is only $19.99 a month. I'll put that link in to chat here in just a second. And it is just a great deal because it also includes access to all of my online classes, past, present, and future. And so you're basically getting a class per week plus my additional classes I release, because with all the behind the scenes information, it turns these lives into not just a demo, but a class. So thank you for all of you that have joined my Pastel membership. I'm really excited about it, and it's going really well. So thank you very much for all of your support, and I'm really excited about taking this new journey. And let's see, we got Prairie Girl here. April is from Kennewick, Washington. Oh, wow. My brother lives in Richland. My parents live there. I used to go there for college. I mean, when I would come home to visit, because I went to Eastern. But that's awesome, April. I think I got hello to everybody that's been in here so far. Hello, your frogs are so cute. Well, thank you, Prairie. I appreciate that. I also have reference images for the frogs that are included in the Pastel Insider membership, but I have these cute little guys that I'm going off of. I have tucked them all in creatively into this composition. And the stencil that I love that I've used the most is this tile stencil. I want to order a few more of them off of Etsy. I mean, you can get stencils anywhere, but the difference is it's a tile stencil. It's repetitive and it's bold. You want to put really bold ones on the bottom. The little ones that have a lot of detail, it's really hard to put those pops of darks in there and then still paint them. So that's why I've put this one in here. This one's included in the line art, so you don't have to have the stencil. So that's really nice. And then we're going to be using these blocks of paper to create our own pattern looking papers with the stencils. So that'll be a lot of fun. I had to put a striped paper in there because I love the stripes. And then I played around with some colors here. We're going to go red with the mushrooms, and we are going to they're going to be a complementary color with the green frogs. And then I was like, well, what do I put the lattice at? You know, like this behind the scene. And I was thinking, these frogs are going to be kind of like a candy apple, you know, Kelly green. I think that violet's going to look really pretty behind them. So I was thinking with the red mushrooms, then I do the lattice and the magenta, and then the I think those will harmonize really well together, especially when our main colors are complementary. And I love red. So red is one of my favorites. Obviously, I always love doing these Amanita mushrooms. They're magical and enchanted. Maybe we'll take a little enchanted turn on this piece, I'm not sure, to make it more magical. I don't like to totally plan out my pieces because I just like to leave a little bit of mystery and unknown. And that's why I don't have them all figured out. So if you're doing like a wildlife painting, a lot of times those are really structured. They're really planned out. Or if you're doing realism, high, you know, realism and being really attention, you're actually making like a photographic looking work. I'm always looking to make things whimsical and fun so I can, you know, tweak them and have them be fun and a little bit looser and not so caught up in the details. I probably could have gone down that path with the high realism. It's not that I can't do it. It's just my whole guidance system is what brings me joy. And I find when I get really tight with my work, I'm not as happy. And that's something to keep tabs yourself, you know, like how are you feeling when you're doing and trying those things and taking notes of it. Hi, Luis, welcome. So was an hour early, now I'm late. So you were early, I get it. Yeah, well, at least you're here, you know. So I'm putting in the red here. I put my darks in of places that I know I want my shadows to be, and that will push that red even darker. So I have a few reds up here right now. I have underneath here, I have the orange. I have these all listed down below of the colors. I have to go double check to make sure these are updated. I didn't do that yet. But I will by the end of this make sure all the colors are updated. I'm just using the full family of red. If you don't have the full family of red, you can just take the core color. Now when I say core color, I am meaning the color like this is permanent red. It doesn't have tint by it, it doesn't have shade, and it doesn't have extra dark. So there is core colors in the PanPastel family. Those colors, you can make any of the family from them. You just have to add dark black, you know, you have to add black for the shade, and then you have to add more black to create the extra dark. And then if you want a tint, you're going to add white to the red. Man, I've already lost this tip on this one, so I'm going to get a different one here. Let's see, Luis, daylight savings clocks move forward and caught me out. I was sitting at 8:30 thinking, oh no, what's happened? So is the daylight savings time going to be better for you, Luis? I'm hoping. So I got a new wand. I had a different color on it, so I am priming that wand by dipping it into the color I want to use, just so I don't get any residue of the white that was on there. And I have all these little mushroom specks in there. I like to leave my mushroom specks, draw them in initially because it creates this fun depth in them. If I would just paint the whole thing, if you want to simplify it, if you're a Pastel, insider and you're trying this out on your own, you can just put the dots in later, but you'll try to do both and you can see the difference because the little dots will hover on the surface and they just don't have as much depth to them. And so I'm not a huge fan of just speckling them on there. So this was a white one and it has a little bit of white left in it. It does usually wipe off all the way, except if I've used a lot of something in there, but I'm fine with that. So I'm putting this in the light source. I'm probably gonna make this area my light source area. I like to usually pick one that will be brighter and then everything will fade away into the darker realms. That's what my goal is. Prairie Girl, what beginner colors do you suggest to get when you can only afford a few PanPastels? Well, I have really simplified a lot of the classes that I've done. These 24 that I list into a lot of the lives are pretty repetitive. I would suggest that. Sometimes I'll put a lot more greens. When I am doing PanPastel, I will put things in my palette. I have like a color mixing class. It's in my free PanPastel library that talks a lot about that, so you can understand why I pick the colors that I pick. But the colors that I'm picking, the basic core, I think I have that in most of these lives that I've pared down, and they're 13 colors are the core, and I would have to go through and write that out. But I plan to do that for a video. Maybe I'll have that ready for this Thursday. But normally I did it for my terrarium class. I did the minimum 13. No, it was the guiding light and the terrarium class. So if you even want to just go there and look at the supply list, you can see my favorite 13 colors that I think would be a great start for it. And a lot of them, I'm picking them, like I have my ultramarine in there, I have my diarylite in there, and my red, and those are primaries. And then I can mix a lot of these colors in there to get other colors. So if you go there into the sales page on my website, I show all the supplies list, so you don't have to buy anything to go look at that, and you can go see the supply list for guiding light. That is a great list of pastel colors. So I hope that helps. It was fine before, but now it's 9:30 a.m. instead of 8:30 a.m. Will be way better for our Aussie friends. They are behind me. Yeah. The Australians have been really early lately, so I've been really excited for their time zone to flip. I had quite a few of them in here in the beginning, and now there's two, Kez and Michelle, that come. So I'm dipping into a permanent red shade right now, and that's just my first layer. So I'm just getting my first layers in here, and I'm getting warmed up, and this is something I know. So whenever you're creating a piece and it might seem overwhelming to you, what I do is I would break it down into sections. So right now, I would focus on working on the mushrooms and getting all the reds in there. And that would really breaks that down, and you can take a break and, and reevaluate. And when you're on your own totally, then I'll go, well, what do I know is going to be the next color that I'm going to use? And I know these frogs are going to be green tree frogs because I want to focus them on being a green tree frog. Not all my references are green tree frogs, but they are similar in family. This one was a brown one, and I'm actually just going to match them because I have the creative artistic license to do so, right? And I'm not going to be so literal with that reference because I'm just using it for the shape. So I'm just getting all my colors in here, kind of establishing some values from putting my darks in, and that will be a give and take throughout the whole piece because your first layer is just really blocking things in and getting your colors down and your values down. So we really can't put stencils in until we get, a few layers, established, a few areas all painted in. And so I'm hoping to be able to, I'll probably do this one a little bit, but I want to bring up a section to do a stencil section before we leave today. But usually that would take a little bit longer, but I want to definitely be able to show you that today and show you what I'm going to be playing with. So a lot of this still has a lot of, you know, different values and variations in it. And I'm okay with that because you want something to work from. If I brought it all the way up perfect, I have nothing to, you know, push and pull from. And I'm just getting all these colors established. And you can see how I have that dark in there already, and it's going to push that to a red extra dark because that's in the shadows, because his hands, his little cute little hands are creating that shadow. So that kind of happens more naturally because I put those darks in initially. I'm also working on, for the Pastel Insiders, that I'm going to be, for this one, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to tile the line art so you can print it out to the 12 by 12 size on an 8.5 by 11. It's a little challenging to do that, but I'm going to get that figured out this round. It's a extra work, but I think it'll be worth it. And then I'll show you guys how to tape that up and get that ready. But you'd have to have, if you want to do 12 by 12, you'd have to have like 12 by 16 paper and cut it down. If you want larger sheets, I know like Dakota Pastel, this is the US that I know of. Dakota Pastel carries it in the larger sheets, and Blick carries it in the larger sheets. Blick is nice because you only have to order 5 sheets minimum, and they also have free shipping on a lower amount. Okay, so I feel like I've gotten those reds in there pretty good just to get started out. I'm not trying to finish it. I'm just trying to get it started. And I want these to be a little bit more of like in the burnt sienna family. So I'm going to wipe off my wand and I'm going to tap into the burnt sienna core here. And wherever you hit down first, it's going to be the brightest. So I'm going to, you know, work at the top, and then I'm going to go down because I have darks established that I've put in down here, and it will shade that out naturally and mix into a burnt sienna shade without me having to tap into a shade. Hello, Julie, welcome. You are new here. Welcome to chat. Thank you for coming and saying hi from Australia. You discovered me several weeks ago and I'm totally hooked. Your work is incredible. Well, thank you, Julie. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Peg, for your kind words about the design. Chrisella, welcome. Chrisella's in the house. I wanted to say before I forget, I have put it out there for you guys watching the replay who can't make it live. I've really enjoyed that a few of you have reached out and sent me the most kindest, thoughtful emails, and it's just been really sweet. I appreciate it in a YouTube comment. If you want to contact me through my on my webpage, there's a contact thing. You can do that. You can email me at art@dawnvanderstoot.com. I love hearing from you guys, and I had the sweetest. I got to do a shout out to Kathy and her little sweet grandson Teddy, and she says that they watch my replays, and little Teddy is only 5 months old, but when he hears my voice, he will stop drinking his bottle and look up and watch me. I'm like, that is so sweet. I'm like, I never thought I had a calming voice or anything like that, but I've been hearing this from multiple people. And so, yeah, Kathy, thank you so much again for reaching out, telling me your story and sharing that about Teddy. And hello, Teddy. Hope you're having a great day. So, yeah, if you're watching the replay, I know not everyone can make it live. I just want you guys to know I really love hearing from you, and I appreciate you guys taking the time. Okay, so we're going to work on another color here. I got the burnt sienna that I was doing. I got a little distracted. And I'm okay if a little bit of red is in here too, because what that does is it harmonizes the the colors. Now I want this mushroom to have a little bit of striations in it. So I'm just creating that pattern by the way I'm applying it. I'm just pulling down into the shadows. And this one I didn't get that same vibe as much. I can take some of the magenta extra dark, put some of that in. I could tap some black in here. Okay, so we got our initial colors there. And now I'm thinking I want to get some of this lattice work in. I might just switch to my dark wand. Paula, welcome. Start Teddy on pans early, right? Right, maybe he's a budding artist. He's got like a connection to it already. He'll be like, I don't know why I love pastel, but he'll never know that that's what his grandmother was having him watch when he was little, and he was connected to it. That's so sweet. All right, so I'm just being careful here. I'm still using this larger wand. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm also loading edges of my wand. I'm not, you know, just going down really heavily. I'm using the tip of the wand. I would say that wears out the quickest for me. And I'm also loading the wand, and you can see how I'm tapping in frequently because I want to get enough pastel in there so it's not wearing down the tip to where it gets raw and I have to switch the tips. So I'm just going to work on getting it. And so if this was a fine shape, for instance, this is a great visual. Oh, hi Marty, welcome. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that your internet's being tricky. So I want you guys to see, this is one of my favorite patterns for the stencils. Now if I use this, I would not be able, I'm coloring in the heavy part of this stencil right here. This is the thickness of it, and so I know I can get in there with my wand or a pencil pretty easily. If I did this pattern on the base layer, wanted to have it look like this, I would have to get a pencil and tediously color those ridges in. Now, when we get to the other layers, we won't have to do any of that because the colors that are underneath that we put in will show through with the color we put over it. And that is the fun thing about the stencils. But on the bottom layer, because I'm doing this special effect with the dark colors, that is a little bit more, you have to think that through a little bit. So I took this spot right here, it had a diamond in it. I took the diamond out because this is my focal image of the piece, and that diamond would have taken away from the eye, and the eye has black in it. So I'm just going to do at least one of these here. Get it going. Mortison Man, hello, welcome to chat. And so on the process that I'm doing, I'm also knocking down my transfer lines that are the, I use a light gray to transfer my pieces on. And so I'm keeping that in mind. The black lines I don't mind keeping, I break them down slowly. So I'm just trying to get that initial color in there. And I think so far I really like the magenta extra dark in the background. It's one of my favorite colors. You can clean it up a little bit. And so I think the tricky part is just trying to figure out what I want some of the other papers to be. And so you have to think about, you know, here I'm going to have a green frog, so I can't have this be green, or it has to be a different value of green. Here's not going to be too difficult. So I do have some freedom in some of these paper colors that I can, you know, think about along the way. So I'm going to put a little bit of burnt sienna in with this crown with the diarylide, and that's going to make it a richer yellow. So I just tapped the burnt sienna and the diarylide together, and it's going to make a yellow orange, but I'd rather have that because on the first layer, I mean, I could use the orange shade too. And the pencils can also be used in some of these tight spots, but I don't mind to get, I always like to try to get my first layer of PanPastel down. I have a few of these wands from last week's that are now deciding that they're worn out. So I can tap in the diarylide to some of these little shinier parts. We got a good group of you in here today. So glad to be here. It's a little warmer here than expected. It's supposed to be 80 degrees here in the Pacific Northwest. All right, so I got the crown on here, and I'm gonna think about what I want for colors on that. I don't really want it to be too competitive with the frog. I could bring a neutral color in, like a burnt, a raw umber. I'm hem-hawing over that right now. So because I don't really have that decision made, this is a great example of just moving forward. So I'm gonna put, work on the frog a little bit and just kind of get some colors started in on the little guy. Now, they're kind of a candy apple, you know, Kelly green vibe, especially towards the face. So I'm gonna turn on my little fan here. Boy, I got stuff all over me. I don't know where it came from. Hopefully it's not on my face. Okay, so I'm going to wipe off my diarylide here, clean that off. This PanPastel goes really, really far. You guys don't be horrified that I'm wasting some of it. It's taking years to even replace some of the pans, so it really, really goes far. Now, when you mix diarylide with phthalo green, you're going to get a really beautiful Kelly green. When I mix with my wand, I'm going to mix with what I want to be the main color on the wand first here. So that's quite a bit, but you can see my wand, it's got it on there. And then I'm going to go into the diarylide and I'm going to push that on there. Now, I'm going to go into the brightest spot that I think that's going to be on the frog and start laying down some color here. Now, I probably, you know, added a little too much, so I'm just going to go down onto this guy, and I don't want to waste it. And so I'm trying to get some of the, I can always put dark into this if I want it to go darker. And he's going to look pretty bright right now, and I can tone him down. I loaded my wand a little extra heavy there. As you can see, it's still going. And those darks and those lines, when I bump up against them, I'm okay that they mix into the frog because it's going to shadow out some of those parts, and I'm okay with that. That's naturally creating some shadow there. Okay, so that's pretty bright. I mean, it looks neon right now, and I'm okay with that. If I want to tone it down a little bit, I could tap in a little bit of black. I mean, I'm talking a little bit of black, and it goes really far, so I can see that that's already too much. I wipe that off on my towel, and then that is going to tone down that green. And if I want it to be a little bit more yellow, I'm going to try a little bit of diarylide into this guy's color because I'm looking at my reference and they kind of go back and forth, and I'm not trying to be exact. I'm just trying to get the vibe here. And I think this diarylide extra dark mixed in with my Kelly green that I'm making is going to be really pretty and kind of get that frog color. So it's going to take a few layers of that to play around with. But I'm okay with that dark, you know, that Kelly green peeking through. Now I'm going to use some of the bright yellow green extra dark. And I like to mix several greens in, so that just creates interest. If you do solid colors for the whole thing, then you're going to get kind of a flat look. And that it was so bright, I can... Now I know that some of this is white here, so I'm just going to tap in a little bit. And when I'm looking at a reference, I'm looking at just the core colors that the shapes of the colors. I'm not trying to get every little detail in here. I'm not trying to be a wildlife artist, getting the exact look down. Now around this guy, he's green all the way up. We're just getting the initial layers in here. I'll be going over this with pencils. I usually do about 3 layers in a piece. We'll just get some of these colors in. I don't know if any of you guys have an altered journaling or collage background, but that's what this whole design is stemmed from. I used to do a lot of altered journaling. So this arrow and all of that is just to be like papers, like I'm doing a page. I'm thinking underneath, there's a little bit of green underneath. Might mix it with this bright yellow green, extra dark, and this is the bright yellow green. And then there's some white down below there. Hi, Dawn. Oh my gosh, I finally made it to one of your lives. I always love your work. Well, thank you, Jessie. Welcome. I'm so glad that you made it today. Mortician Man, I've never used pastels before. I draw comic book characters, so just a pencil and a lot of inks. But I love watching different artist styles because it never hurts to learn something new. I totally agree. Thanks for coming and broadening your horizons with PanPastel. It's definitely a versatile medium, and I have backgrounds in a lot of different mediums, but about 7 years ago I discovered PanPastel, and it checks all the boxes for me. So I'm really enjoy the PanPastel and the blending capabilities, and you know, the ability to change things super quickly. Now you can see that I'm mixing in the different greens. That creates a lot of interest and brings you to his face, and then he's going to have all the different ones. So we're bringing out these little guys and their personalities. Karen's here. Welcome, Karen. Last minute telephone call. Well, you always got to talk to your kid when they call. Oh, this community is amazing. I just love you guys. Okay, so I'm going to just start blocking in and just putting some colors into the body, and I'm okay with just rotating some of these greens back and forth because I think you're going to see the value of layering that. And I can always put diarylide even on top of some of that if I want to brighten it up. Okay, sorry guys, my son has decided, or someone, sorry, I'm going to mute myself for a second. someone has opened the garage door, and so Sunny thinks someone's home. And my kid might have forgotten I'm live. I have these like signs. I'm upstairs in my studio, and I have these signs that say I'm live. But I have a 19-year-old that's home, so he might forget sometimes. And then my husband works from the home. And so yeah, we got quite a few people here. So underneath the frog, instead of using the neutrals, I'm thinking, highly considering bringing the raw umber in. I did it on that one piece when I was feeling a little unsure. And raw umber is a great neutral. It's always good when you have a lot of color to bring in a neutral. I don't know what color I really am going to replace with that. I'm thinking the color I'm not going to use that much of is, I'm not sure. So this is where more colors come into play. I have a lot of reds in here. I can pull my red stack because I'm just going to keep that red in. And then I'll bring in a neutral raw umber. As you guys know, this is raw umber too. I like to use the tint raw umber, not white all the time. I also have the shade, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to want to use here. Sometimes I like to use the shade because it's a little bit darker. And I just screw those on top so you guys can understand they're in the same family. So with that, I'm trying to get a wand that doesn't have a lot of color in it. And I might just see what that feels like, putting some of that in the frog here and just having a little bit of neutrals in there. And I can always tap in the violet too to add some color. Because their little feet and everything are in between like a neutral and the violet, I'm just going to have some fun with that and layer that up a little bit. And I can always put this raw umber down and then hit the violet over it, because that goes in, their bellies and stuff goes into the white. So I'm just trying to get some colors down here. And I've never done frogs before, but they seem pretty straightforward. Once you've painted something, a lot of things, you just learn to break things down a bit. His little tentacles too, I'm going to get our neutral on the tips here. And then I can tap in some violet in there. His little leg, I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. I think I've acknowledged everyone in here. A great group today. So let's see, I've got most of that. I'm going to work on this guy, and I'm going to use a little bit of that raw umber shade and white, the raw umber tint. And I'm just going to get his values in. And with those mixing together, it makes it a little bit more realistic. And then you can add color over it to blend them out a little bit. And that was pretty heavy right there, but it's easy to tone that down with just putting some raw umber over it. And then I can take and build up the leg here with the green. So that's the diarylide, extra dark. This is the diarylide core. And then I can put a little bit of the phthalo green over it, and that's going to break it the Kelly green. Now, they do not have a Kelly green in their set. You have to mix it. It's interesting because I thought all of their feet were green, but some of them are and some of them aren't. So they kind of blend into this green into a neutral. Oh, you guys are so sweet, welcoming Julie to the group. I'm so glad that you've made it here, Julie. And Jesse's made it here today. All right. I feel like I got all that. Now I got to get the green in. So after I get a little bit more of the frogs in, then I'm going to work in one of these blocks here, and we're going to bring it up. I'm thinking about doing this corner and starting on this side, and then we'll put a stencil over it and have some fun with that. And I'll also just kind of get some of these colors in there. So I'm using the extra dark permanent green. It's a little more neutral than the Kelly green. Now I want his face to be the brightest, so I don't want his little tentacles to be brighter than his face. And then they have these little webs that this raw umber I can put in there. I'm thinking, is this the lighter one? This is the shade. Let me get the core. I got another finger here. Lots of little cute fingers. And it's just really breaking it down and getting those basic chunks of color in there. And then once I have those colors in, then I can put more black in certain areas to darken spots out and bring things up and pull it back and forth. So I'm going to take some of this raw umber tint, I'm going to put it on like a line there, so you're actually using the edge of the tool. Now I could use a pencil there, but I'm just going to get my initial colors in there. I'm going to bump it again. And then I could maybe get some of the burnt sienna. And work on this sweet little eye. Now I can push back and forth with the black, so I'm okay with it, you know, getting a little muddied. Louise has to say goodbye and watch the replay. Looking forward to it, and it's looking amazing already, Dawn. Hubby needs my help. Well, okay, Louise, you have a great day. I'm so glad that you stopped in. Okay, Mortician Man says, I just subbed. I don't know what that means. I would love to. Oh, you're heading out too. Okay, Mortician Man, thanks for stopping in. So glad that you were here. Okay, so you can see how we're getting this little frog looking pretty good. And now I can go around and use that burnt sienna and bring up the eyes. And of course the eyes have a little bit more detail in them, but you're just trying to get the core in there. And if I want to stabilize my hand, I can use this dowel here, and I can get a little bit more closer and a little bit more stable on that. Now, if you're not comfortable with doing the eyes with the PanPastel, the Carbothello set has a beautiful burnt sienna. It's a 670, and I can go in here with that 670. That works too. I want to keep the shape of the eye, so I'm probably going to have to come back and play with that a little bit. This one's a little low, and I'm going to fix that eye really quick. I use my black, and I'll show you how you can push. Wow, I went way too low on that. Oh, snap. So you're going to see how easy it is to fix stuff. Need to sharpen this black pencil a little bit. Julie says, hi Dawn, I'm new here. Oh wait, I've already read that. I thought I was reading a new one. Sorry, Julie. Oh wait. Subscribe to, oh, thank you, Mortician Man. I understand what you're saying. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. That's awesome. Oh, Lynn, you're so sweet. This is inspiring me to go to one of your lessons I've purchased but haven't done yet. Haven't management to in the art time. You know, so you haven't gone in the art room for a while is what I'm thinking you're saying. Well, if I can inspire you to show up, I think that is a huge win on my part, because that's my goal. Because 90% of the challenge is showing up, as we all know. I'm kind of feeling like, no, I'm looking at my thing here, and I just got to get this eye. You know what? I'm on the wrong one. That's what's wrong. I'm looking at the wrong reference. That's fine. He's just got a big eye, but watch, I can just tone that down a little bit by bringing in some burnt sienna, and you can just go back and forth. I was like, I didn't think this one had that big eye. But it's amazing how you can just make a correction and how that eye is going to build up. Oh, they're going to be so cute. I never thought, you know, I've always wanted to do a frog, and I haven't ever done the frog before. Oh, hi, Jonas. Welcome. Is it focused on my hand? Here, let me check my focus, guys. I think it's fine. It's focused. I have to do this thing because it's all manual focus. I was trying to get it focused today, and it was being a little finicky. Everything was being a little finicky today. There we go. Let's try that. Should be a little clearer now. Well, thank you. Awesome. Okay, so you can see that the little frog, he's really building up quite nicely. We just got the initial layers in there. I got the other frogs just coming up really slowly right behind them, but that's not going to take much time to bring them up there. We just got to get the, oh, I was going to use the raw umber with the tint. That's going to make this transition a little bit better. And we'll just get those details in here with this guy, because basically what this guy needs is this raw umber, and he's also got a little, well, it's going to get a little smudge, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I can put his mouth line in there back in later. I'll play with that a little bit later. I'm going to tap in some black, create a little bit of depth in here where his belly goes down. And then he's got, I'm going to put some of this diarylide. And then I can clean up his eye a little bit later here. So we've got him blocked in. He's looking pretty good. I want to get this one guy blocked in up here. Now I'm thinking with my light source being up here, he's going to be pretty bright right here. So I don't want to tone him down too much. I'm going to go with that Kelly green. And underneath, this is going to be a little bit more white. So I'm going to put some of that Kelly green right here. And now I can take that raw umber tint, since this is going to be in the brightest area, I'm going to let this be brighter. It's all about value. Value is your superpower, you guys. Once you start, you know, doing some pieces, always take a photo of your piece and put it to black and white and see if you have good balance of your values. And a lot of the details we can put in with pastel pencils. We're just getting the initial colors down. And I want this to be a little bit whiter coming down here, so it looks like that's separate. Let's get that established. And it creates that little shadow right there that I wanted to establish there, like that's that skin that they can blow out. I want to put a little bit more right here. And then get his line on his mouth a little bit more right there. I'm going to have to go in on his eye with pencils on that side. Whoops! Sorry guys, that was startling even for me. So I'm looking at my screen, my monitor, just to see how it looks. I feel like I got the frogs to a good spot, and I really want to be able to play with that stencil. We have a whole hour, so that's really good. So we can get a lot of our colors blocked in. I'm trying to think of what I want to do for this color right up here. I could go neutral in that corner with the raw umber, but I'm thinking I want to put the paper above his head in that raw umber and keep that neutral. So I'm going to do that because that's something I know. That's how I'm navigating. This color can be changed. I can always add color into it if I don't like the neutral. And this is the raw umber core. I call the ones that don't have shade or tint cores. I think PanPastel, it would have been nice to understand that these are the core colors. That's something that took me a little while to understand. So I'm trying, you know, I'm here to demystify PanPastel and to encourage you to have a more positive experience on your journey. And you can see how using this one tool saves me a lot of time because I'm not switching to different tools all the time. When I first started out, I have all the tools. I have all of the tools. You're always thinking, oh, maybe this tool is going to make me better. No. It's literally just showing up and practicing. It's just like with anything. It's awkward at first, and now I think of these like paintbrushes. So I want this to look like paper. And you know what I forgot to do is you know those little, if you are mixed media or you've altered journals, the one thing that I love doing is, you remember those little grommets or the little pin, you know, pin things you can push through? I did not put those on here, and I want them to have little grommet holes. So I'm gonna take my eraser, this is my Mono 0, and I'm gonna just erase it. I probably didn't even need to. I could probably just go in there with black pencil. Okay, it's not that thick, so I'm just gonna go in with the black pencil. Well, I'm gonna actually use my favorite shadow pencil. That is the 175 Faber-Pitt pencil. Faber-Castell Pitt. So I used to be a digital scrapbooking designer, and I used to make elements that I would watercolor, and then I would cut them out in Photoshop and make digital scrapbooking pages. And that's what I used to sell about, gosh, I think 11, 12 years ago, maybe more, maybe like 15 years I'm going on, I don't know. But so that's kind of the influence in my work. So I want these to look like that they're you know, attached in there. Okay, let's see here. Karen says, I'm excited about the frog design with the mushrooms and using stencils too. Everything I wanted. I thought it was you, Karen, who was talking about that. It was ringing in my head. I couldn't let it go. Mortician Man says, this is a great piece. I think Led Zeppelin or Cream would have loved to use it as an album cover back in the day. Well, that's a great compliment. Thank you, Mortician Man. Jennifer, welcome. How about orange or burnt sienna for the left-hand upper corner? I like that suggestion. I might definitely go with that because that would pull from these mushrooms. I agree, and I like this quote from the tradesman. Never blame his tools. It's so true. Yeah, the tools aren't... I do believe in investing in quality tools. I have a lot of people that come into this medium and want to go to the dollar store and save money by getting makeup sponges. And it's just not the same. I mean, I highly suggest try both and then you can pick between the two. But I do believe in investing in quality materials, but I also think it's not going to make you better just by getting all the right paints and all the right brushes and tools and all that. You have to definitely show up and do the work and be uncomfortable. Showing up's 90% of the battle. Like I've said, I'm pretty proud of it, but I did an average thing about how many hours I average. Like, well, if I do like 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week over 7 years, it's like, I don't know, I'd have to do it in math, but it's like around 7,000 hours of time that I've put towards this craft. And they say, you know, it takes 10,000 hours to master something. So I'm plugging away. I'm going to get my 10,000 hours in someday, right? This is the first time I've actually stuck with one medium. I've been in this medium pretty much solely. I do dabble in other things like gouache and, you know, I have a watercolor background and things, but I've stayed pretty solely into this medium for 7 years, a little over 7 years. It holds my interest. It's just really unlimited. The possibilities are unlimited. I can do anything that I come up with my mind for the first time. Especially in the black PanPastel. I love doing that technique too. So I'm just getting this blocked in. I want it to be pretty solid of a decision for blocking it in because when you put a stencil over it, you don't ever want to really touch it again unless you're just, you know, putting squiggle marks over it or something like that. So I want to get a few of these blocked in areas. I can always go a little, this is a pretty bright panel and I don't have enough in yet to see if it's too bright. But I usually like to repeat something and I'm thinking the best spot to repeat that, I already have a mushroom here and here. I could put a panel right here. That wouldn't be a repeat, but they're pretty close. I have this thin line I can do. And I have down here, I could always make a panel and I could split this off and have this be a panel. That's not that hard to do. I can just take a straight edge of something and line that up. Let's see if it's going to line up with that. It is. I like this stencil too. Looking for my, this is my Wolf Carbon pencil. And a lot of this is intuitive. I'm just like, oh, I'll try this. So now I've broken this up. So it's another panel and another piece of paper for say. I'm thinking I could even make this one and just have his head get highlighted so that separates it. I didn't have these all be on specific blocks, but I want to make sure that that is not going to be crooked. This is where I care. I care about that. And then that's going to panel that out. So you can see if you're thinking about paper, that gives me a few more panels to work with. And you know, I can even make more panels with, you know, just even deciding on making maybe that a block. Let's see what that mushroom is. Might be fun to divide the mushroom. So I just have to make sure it's straight. And so this is a lot similar like a grid composition for like abstract in the background. You know, you're building that structure up and then you're breaking it down. So if I didn't want this to be full, a full panel, I could even make this a line right here. That makes another strip, kind of like the strip up here. It's a little crooked, but I'll work with that. Let's see here. Oh, wait. Okay, let's see here. I agree, and I like, okay, I saw that one. Yes, trying both is good too. Keep your nose to the grindstone. Keep the monkey of procrastination off your back. That is for sure. I agree with that. So I don't know if I want to separate this one out. I think with this being able to put a stencil on, it's going to be good. We've got some long rectangles here, short here. This might look okay divided, but I think with the long branches coming out, I think I'm going to keep it. So I feel that feels pretty good right now. So let's make some decision on colors here. I got green frog here. I'm going to put some green under here. I think that would be a good choice for that area because I'm trying to stagger it. So if I have the green frogs here, I don't necessarily want to put green where they are. I'm going to go with this extra dark yellow. This is yellow, bright yellow green, extra dark. I have some white in my wand. Whoops, I have some white in my wand. So I'm going to cover my wand and wipe it off. It'll get rid of most of that white that's peeking out. Sometimes that happens even if you clean your wand off as good as you think you do, but so I will make sure before we leave that you will get a taste of putting those stencils in. But you got to build up to it. So see how that stark is? It looks like, you know, you don't have a lot of, the shadowing isn't continued. This is the stuff you want to do on this layer because once you put a stencil over it, you're not able to go and play with that anymore unless you want to redo the stencil. So I'm going to tap into my black very lightly. And this is going to take that extra dark bright yellow green and push it to even an extra, extra dark. So we're using the PanPastel system and pushing their extra dark even darker. So I'm looking at that, making sure that's looking, I think I want to match that and probably bring this up a bit. So when you see me go out of frame and I'm not grabbing color, I'm usually wiping off onto the towel. And that turns it into a blending tool. Tapping into dark here. So now I'm using value as my superpower and I'm playing with the value to get that look of light in that piece. So that's probably why I would hold off. Even if I show a stencil, I can always just quickly redo it. But you want to get all those little shadows in first. So I'm trying to think of where else I want to put that green. Question, Dawn, do you have the Facebook group linked? The new people might want to continue the fun over there. Well, I can definitely put the Facebook group in there, Lynn. Thank you. Especially for the new group. I should have that link right here. Just one moment. God, at least I thought I had it in here. I have all my links. Here we go. Love the Facebook group. You guys can share your work in there. I hope this link works. I'm not sure. It looks like it might be messed up. Let's see if it works. it might be a little weird. I think that works. We'll see. I'm going to see if it links. It looks like it might. I just don't have my Facebook open. I think I have the right link in there. You guys, I'm sure, can tell me. But, okay, so I want to bring in some more of the green. And I'm thinking with this leg right here, I'm going to put green right here because I don't mind if some of the animal touches, because sometimes I'll make them blend in with the green. I think having green right next to the side might be fine. So I'm going to put that green right here. Plus with a stencil, it might even break that up even more. And while I'm putting this in, I'm going to take a drink of water. And if I want to change it, I can change it. You know, a lot of those changes and stuff I make on Wednesdays. We can see what it looks like. So I like these flowers to be on this layer. I can put the petals on another layer, but it just really gives them more staying power. If I put this on top of everything, it just floats a little bit more. So I don't mind going around them. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I go back and forth. Oh, good. Glad the link's correct. Thank you, Lynn. I do my best to check there a few times a week to approve Facebook requests. Okay, so we've got the green in here. I don't know, I'm feeling a pull coming on. I feel like I could have put green right here too, but you know what I think I might put on there is maybe a magenta without the lattice. I almost think one of these lattices might look really good right in this corner, but I do like to do threes, so I didn't do that. So if I put the magenta in there, it's going to almost feel like an afterthought, so I don't really want an afterthought. I think I might just put that burnt sienna in there. We just need to think about what we're going to want here. So if I have burnt sienna here and there, so you can see how I'm staggering colors. We could do orange there. That could be because this is the light source. So I think I'm going to go with maybe a diarylite or an orange, and I can create a fun light source right here. I think that would be a lot of fun. We'll see what that looks like. And this is going to be yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow. And then maybe I got it figured out. Maybe we put the burnt sienna right here. I think I might have it figured out. I think orange will look great. Let's just put that one in right now. We'll do the orange shade, and we can go brighter. I'd rather go neutral and then bring the brightness up. I mean, I could mix some in. Let's just see what it looks like. I'm really going through my wands quickly, and that happens a lot during my lives because I just don't have the same connection. All right, let's bring in the bright, because I'm going to go bright. So I'm putting this over the orange shade. We'll just see what it feels like. It's always about how it feels to me. I'm probably going to get color on me. You know, Lynn, I want to stay away from blue. I might put violet in there, but I don't even know if I want to hit violet this time. I want to keep this a warm piece. If I put blues in, I don't really have that fitting in the color combination. So I've done that before, and I think I want to stick clear from the blue this round. I don't have any blues in my other one. I put the violet, you know, that pretty magenta violet in, and that could be fun. And that's the magenta mixed with the turquoise. But I think that might be on the next layers. I'm going to put some diarylide. I'm going to go bright here. I'm going to see what this feels like. That might blend those two. Let's see if I can get a lighting effect with the papers being separate. So this is where I like to have fun with light. And so I'm going to rotate these higher key colors. Good morning, Kez. Welcome to the group. Yes, I agree. It's going to make that frog really come out, even though this guy was kind of my focal, but this isn't a focal spot too, so we can play with both of those. And I love green and orange together, so you can, I'm going to switch out my raw umber with some white because I'm making tints. My white is pretty dirty, so I'm just going to take, when I can just take a tool and clean that off. I don't really have a tool I want to, here, I don't have a tool that I want to use, so I'm just going to use a towel. And I just take and lightly tap my towel in there. I'm going to put that over my raw umber. Thank you, Kez. Okay, so I'm going to tap in that orange into my white. I really like that spot there. So I'm just going to play with some light here. And then all of this is going to reflect on to the animal and the rest of the piece. And that's why you have your first layers, and then you're able to evolve the layers. Now, you're not seeing this as clear as I am. Let me see if I can get the colors to change up a bit. I don't know why it... There we go. I think that is a little bit more true. It's dark overall because the paper's not all done. So the camera and the lighting is going to fight with that a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go more yellow up here. And I'm not going to fuss with it too much because I got to bring this frog's head up, and that's going to really change how that looks. I do think the camera is portraying that a little bit closer. I'm going to put, this is green right here. That's a weird shape, but if you think these are over layering, that's okay. It's just going to bring out that effect that it's paper. And I'll be able to bring these papers up a bit in colors if I want. I'm just trying to get the initial layers in here. And this is a brighter area, so I don't want to take away from the frog's face and stuff, but I might pop in a little bit of this bright yellow green shade and then the bright yellow green extra dark. So I'll bring the shade right here. And so I'm hoping But that's going to look like a piece of paper tucked behind it all. But I think with the illusion of light, it's going to play a little bit of a mind game, but that's okay. I don't mind doing that to people. I don't mind their mind going, is that paper? Is it light? Is it a window? We don't know really what it is, and that's okay. Thank you, Lynn. We got a big group here today, 37 of you. I'm really waiting for the day I start hitting 40s. We've hit it a few times, but that's awesome. You guys are almost there today. If you have any friends that you think that would like this or anything, feel free to share it. I definitely want to spread the word. And with my new Pastel Insider membership, it turns each one of these demonstrations into more like a class because you get to have the line art, you get the behind the scenes video of me setting and getting it set up from the line art to the live, then the middle, and then you get the end finishing. And so that all gets loaded every Friday. And right now you have 3 weeks worth of lives that I've done with the membership. I'm going to put that link in there right now. And you also get access to all of my online classes too for only $19.99 a month. So I'm going to plot that in here. I got a lot of you in here that have already joined the Pastel Insider, so I'm really excited about incorporating the lives in with the classes. And I get a lot of requests for the line art and a lot of requests for more details, and I think this is a win-win. So if you're interested, please join my Pastel Insider. You can cancel anytime, and it's going really well, and I'm really excited about it. Okay, so we got some light in there. I'm not going to go crazy with that. I mean, you can get caught up in a moment and then go, oh, I went too far. But the cool thing is with pastel, you can just erase it. For those of you that are newer here, I always love to have a little demo of how easy it is to make changes. You can just use an eraser onto here and make all kinds of changes. You can do lines with erasers. You can do all kinds of things with erasers, and anything you want to change is super quick. You just tap right back into the pastel and put it right back on. Now this paper is a UArt paper. It takes a lot of abuse. It's very close to like what sandpaper feels like. This is a 600 grade. A lot of people have bought sandpaper and tried it out. It's just, this is archival and all that good stuff. But you can see how quick it is to make a change. So what I want you guys to do is feel like it's not precious. You can try things out, make mistakes, and learn from them, and then just fix them. Oh, Laura's here. Hi, Laura. I've been here incognito. It's market season for me, and I am making while watching. Well, welcome, Laura. I'm so glad that you're here. What would you think about incorporating the green on the top row, second from the left? Top row, second from the left. This is left. This is green. I got green there. So I don't know. I'm thinking these are right for me on the right, so I'm not sure which one. Oh, on my palette. Ah, that green. I think that green would be fun. It is a cooler green. I'm trying to hit a little bit warmer on this. I might be thinking about doing that on another layer, but this, I already have the phthalo green. When I mix that with the diarylite, it makes a Kelly green, but it warms up the phthalo green. And then this is the permanent green shade. I think it's the shade, not the core. Yeah, it's the shade. And it's a little bit more on the minty colors, and I don't know if I want to go there. So all the frogs that I have are more on the warms, but we'll see. I might incorporate that along the way. Laura sells hand knits. They're really beautiful. I follow her. What was the place? It's called Star Song Knits, I think, on Etsy. Yeah, so you're actually selling in person, not just online. That's a big job. I've done that. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more of this orange here. I think I'm going to go to orange shade. My good friend Lori, her name's Lori, not Laura. She knits too, and she says I'm knit worthy. She has made me, I'll have to show it to you sometime so you can see it, Laura, is she made me the most beautiful shawl. And it's like rainbow in earth colors. You make me want to go run and get it, but maybe I'll show it on Thursday if I remember. Okay, so I got that in there a little bit darker, and I'm just going to keep plugging away here. So I'm going to incorporate those. I want to make sure at around 3, I at least show you what a stencil would look like on the top. There's a lot to do here, and those stencil moments are more finishing, so those might be more a little bit on Thursday, but I can definitely demo that for you. I'm thinking I'm going to go with the burnt sienna right here. I might go with the burnt sienna shade because I'm going darker here. I could add black to it, definitely an option, but I have the color. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Laura. We're all creatives. We've got to support each other. Having a creative life and trying to make a living from it, it's a journey. So we definitely have to come together and support each other. So I'll bring that out on, if I remember, on Thursday, because Lori, I meant to ping her today. She always forgets when my lives are going, and I tell her, well, I'll ping you before I go live, and then I forgot again today. But she lives an hour and 45 minutes from me. We've been friends for over 25 years. So I put this dark in here. I'm going to blend it in just a moment, but I'm not going to go into that dark right away. I want to get wherever my brightest color is, I'm going to put that in first, and then it'll go into the dark. So I'm just getting around these little flower buds, getting those colors in. It's not like perfect. I'm just getting, because I can go in with pencils and clean all of that up. We're just getting kind of that underpainting in, blocking in all of our colors and getting that really figured out. I mean, I don't know. I might go back and tone this part down. I might bring it out. I don't know. So we just got to get some things down so we can make some decisions. Sometimes we'll get frozen in fear that we're going to make a mistake, and so we won't make a decision. And this is what I'm here to share with you, is that this medium allows you to kind of put the fear aside and just make some choices, because you can make changes very easily. So this is going to push this burnt sienna all the way back into a burnt sienna extra dark. And I'm using the burnt sienna shade, and it's going to make it pretty dark. And that's going to give that lighting onto the paper. All right, so I've got that balanced out, burnt sienna, and then I'm going to do one more burnt sienna, and I'm thinking I really want to do it here, but that's too bright. I mean, that'll be right up against this, but that's not horrible. I mean, I was going to do burnt sienna up here. I think I might just do that, and then this color bar up here could be green. I'm trying to keep the background sort of simple because we have a lot going on. I also have the diarylide, which is a really different green that might be kind of cool too. So let's see what diarylide and burnt sienna looks like in this spot, because this is diarylide right here, this yellow. So if I go diarylide extra dark, that's a really warm green. That could be really pretty. And I know you were thinking about this permanent green, but that's a little bit more minty. I want to see what this looks like. So I'm just going to put this up here. I'm not going to go crazy, crazy. And then I'm also going to put some burnt sienna and see which one I might like in this corner. And why don't we do a little poll and you guys can vote on it. So we're going to do the Diarylide Extra Dark. Oh, I have to write a question, just a second. Which color for the upper right corner? And then we're going to do Diarylide. This took me forever to get this name down. Or we're going to have the burnt sienna. Okay, here we go, guys. Got the poll started. I always like to have you guys involved. We put the 2 colors up there. Vote. We got 29 of you in the house right now. So let's see what wins. I got the samples up there, what it'll look like. If I do pick this Diarylide, I'm probably going to pop it around in some spots. I'll figure out how to do that. But I might even split something up or something like that. So let's see what we're going to do there. Oh, Mortician Man's leaving. We'll gotta go get some dinner, but nice chatting with y'all. Oh, great. Well, I hope to see you next this Thursday, Mortician Man. Thanks for coming today. You've been a pleasure. Awesome. All right, guys, the poll should be popping up there. We got 50%. 60% are liking the burnt sienna, probably because we already have a few of those in there. So while we're doing that, I'm going to pop some color into some of these mushrooms. And I'm going to use the magenta extra dark. And that's going to tie those lattices in. I don't have them all done yet, but and this is where I can bring some cool violets. You want to put, a lot of times it took me a while to learn warms and cools. So you want to, you know, put some warms in where the sunlight hits and some cools in where the shade is. And I might put some cool violets in here. I think that would be really pretty. Usually this is a raw umber. I might play with that with some of the violet. Let's see what, I got white here. The little skirts for the, I was thinking of leaving it out and not doing a skirt, but I'm gonna play around with it and see if I like it, and I can always change it. It's just I'll probably have to put a little bit of that in here to make it make sense. Or you know what? I'll just put it more of a magenta, and it'll be more of a magenta skirt. I might get rid of it. I'm not sure. We'll just see how I feel. I think if I incorporate it in, it's going to be fine. Yeah, with the colors. So I'm getting these shadows, colors in. I want this to be interesting. This is where I would probably put some of the ultramarine blue, because if you mix the ultramarine blue and magenta, you get a very beautiful violet. Can also put a little bit of burnt sienna in here, just to, I mean, I'm making up my own mushrooms. These are not real mushrooms. I'm not trying to follow how they exactly look. I'm going to be playing with this section for sure. And this one's really dark, so we got to play with that. She likes the magenta beneath the red. I do too, and I'll be mixing these in these little, underneath the mushrooms right here, we'll have the burnt sienna and the violets, and they'll be mixing back and forth. I couldn't do that up here because the little guy was holding on. I didn't have enough space. Oh, Debbie's here. Hi, Debbie. Welcome. I think it's your first time. You're from the Netherlands. It was nice to watch. I'm going to go to bed. Greetings from me in the Netherlands. Well, thank you for saying hi, Debbie. You have a wonderful sleep. Welcome. Yeah, see, mine are magic mushrooms. Pig. All right, we got our poll going. I'm going to close the poll here in just a moment. So if you're in here voting, it looks like burnt sienna is in the lead. If you like burnt sienna or you want to go another way, this is your last chance to vote here. So I like to mix a little bit of the burnt sienna with the violets under here. Normally they're white, you know, or cream, but I like them to look rainbow. I got missed my line right there, but I can put my lines back. So I'm going to wait to put that cool violet in on an upper layer. I'm just trying to get these blocked in here. And I'm rotating between the burnt sienna shade and I don't mind if these look a little bit looser, a little bit more painterly. When I hit them with the cooler violet, they're going to glow a little bit. That's going to be really pretty. And then I can look through my camera. I definitely need to fix this, so don't let this, you know, freak you out. I might erase that a little bit and get my colors in right before I close the poll. I might just go in with a little bit of the magenta extra dark right here. And then go with the burnt sienna. And then I'll play with that. Because it's probably going to get, like, I'll show you an example. I'm hitting on the edge of my wand there. You can see how I load that right there. And then I'm going to, you know, hit that edge with the light. And that's going to have its own little light hue on it. So that's a little example. Oh, Paula, so glad that you're here, though, and that you were able to come today. Thank you. I can't wait to see you on Thursday. Love that you use the little frog emoji. That's awesome. Have a great one, Paula. Oh, we're almost at 40, too. We were almost at 40. We'll get there. We'll get there. Maybe we'll be there on Thursday. I got a few minutes here. Okay, so I'm going to play, and I got these up. I'm going to close the poll, and then I'm going to block that out. All right, it looks like burnt sienna was the winner by 73%. Well, I get to use my little demo on how to just erase a color out of there. Out with the diarylide. I think you guys are seeing the balance. That's pretty good. I mean, I think the burnt sienna is going to balance out the whole thing. I'm going to go the burnt sienna brighter here, right here, because we got that lighting there, and I can always bring it up even more I don't put my tints and my brighter colors in as much until later on. And then behind the mushroom, I'm going to go shade. This is the burnt sienna shade. So I got 2 more panels. So I like 1, 2, 3 here. I might see what the diarylide might look like putting on these, this, and this. Since we didn't do it here, let's see what it looks like doing 3 times right here. Because I have this diarylide in the frogs and I wouldn't mind bringing it out a little bit more. And it's 3:11. I want to definitely have time to show you a stencil. It probably won't stay because we're not at a level yet, but I definitely want to give you a peek of what's going to be going on Thursday. Behind the scenes, I'll probably be pulling a lot of this up and just leveling it up, and then we're going to do a lot of the stencils on Thursday. Oops, I was a little messy there, but I can fix that. So this black that's down here is mixing in, and I'm okay with that. That's going to push this diarylide even. This is already an extra dark diarylide. It's going to push that back actually even more, and I can play around with that more later. Well, I'm really liking that because I think with that diarylide right here, these are balancing them out. So I just have this little guy up here. I'm thinking of doing that as a green like this. I might pull this up later, maybe add some Kelly green to it, and this will mimic the frogs, and I don't know what I'm going to do the arrow as. And even once I take and get that lattice in, which I can do that behind the scenes because that's pretty labor intensive. So I think on this right side, I'm going to smooth this out a bit. And I'm going to show you what it feels like, how to get a stencil on here. Before we go, I'm going to try to get the values where I want them. I'm going to take and add a little touch of black, and I'm going to gradient out this out a little bit. So you think of a gradient, it's going value. And I got to get some dark in there to do the gradient. And I want it to be a little darker on the edge because I think the flatness just pulls your eye off there. And then I'm going to mix that with the burnt sienna shade. And that's basically just going to make that a burnt sienna extra dark. And then it gives it a little bit more interest to the eye. In my opinion, I think that I like that kind of gradient look. Like when you do a scrapbook page, a lot of times you'll, this is where the scrapbooking influence is. You'll kind of put that walnut ink on the edges, and that's what I'm inspired from. Oh, who else left? Oh, Paula, I think I said goodbye to Paula. Okay. All right, so now we have to pick out a stencil. I would think that's some of the hardest part of the whole thing, is actually committing to a stencil. I have a few picked out that I thought would be kind of cool. Some of the ones that are really popular. And I could even have you guys vote. But that means I have to narrow it down. This one's pretty busy. I think that's a little, I think it's cute. I like it, but I'm really thinking about using the sequin waist. I think that would be a lot of fun because we have the stripes down here in that pattern. I always love this lattice, but I think that might be a little strong because we already have a lattice kind of vibe in here. But, and I also have, well, we'll let you guys vote here. I got these kind of flower. It's almost a tinier lattice, which could mimic the vibe. So we got the, this is the, what's that called? Flower Life. It's metaphysical, like the patterns, how they continuous. I can't think of the name right now. So I'm going to put the vote in. I'm thinking these three. We could go with a really traditional zebra, you know, chevron, and that would play off this too. So I'm going to do chevron, the Flower Life, and the sequin waist, and you guys can vote on that really quick. Okay, so we got sequin waist, that's the circles. We've got the Flower Life. Sacred geometry. That is the word I was trying to get. Okay, here we go, guys. We're keeping you busy. I'm keeping you got to work today. We're gonna vote. I'm not gonna leave this one too long. So there's 30 of you in the house. Let's vote. We're voting. I'm gonna show you guys again. I have the sequin waist for the upper corner, the Flower Life, which kind of almost plays off a miniature of this one. And this just reminds me of scrapbooking, doing the whole paper vibe with the chevron. So that could be a lot of fun too. And then while you guys are voting on that, I will work on bringing up, I'm gonna tie in a little bit of the violet while you guys are voting on that. And then when we do violet, we're gonna mix in, and that's why I wanna have these primaries on my palette, is when you mix ultramarine and magenta, you're going to get a violet. If you do ultramarine and magenta extra dark, you're going to get a darker violet. So I'm going to go with the darker violet. I can even just put it over the violet I already have in here, but I'm going to tap into both. And I'm going to put some cool colors in here in these shadow areas. And that's going to create a glow that I think is really pretty. I'm going to put those shadow areas right, like maybe where the frog's touching. That'll bring a pretty glow for the little frog. I'll get some of that. When it goes too blue, I just got to add a little bit more of the magenta. And I can even add black to it, and that'll tone it down. And that just creates a lot of interest in it. And when we're in those cooler shadows, they're a lot cooler. So we want to bring that out a little bit. All right, you guys, we got 50% are voting for the sequin waist. That is one of my favorites. I have to say it's a stable one to use. I've always loved that one. Okay, my shadow's a little off on here. I'm gonna put this in as the shadow. I'm tapping a little bit of orange just up on this edge. We're also going to be incorporating more pencils on Thursday because everything always looks stained glass and separated, and then I use the pencils to kind of bring it all together. So layering is your superpower, folks. I really believe layering is the key. I mean, you can see already just adding a little bit of light on this is going to bring those edges out in a really beautiful way. And we've only got our first layers down on like the mushrooms, and tapping a little bit of the orange here. Okay, I'm going to be closing the poll here. Here we go. We're closing the poll. Oh, it says it. No, that's for the other thing. Here we go. Okay, guys, let's see who's the winner. Sequin waist won with 46%. So we are going to go with the sequin waist, guys. So now I have to make the decision on what color I want to put in there. I think the violet is really pretty. I might try to just do the violet. I should have been thinking about what color I wanted to use, guys. I mean, if I use the magenta, it'll blend that in and create a softer edge. So I'm fine with that too. Let's just play. Nothing's permanent. I can cover this up and change it. I'm just going to go in with a little bit. I have a bit of the ultramarine in there. I'm going to bump this up. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to, I think, create a really beautiful transition. I can hit it with a little bit of magenta in a couple spots. That's going to really pop it. I can use this ultramarine and the magenta extra dark. That's going to rainbow that out. I might go all the way down here. I'm going to go out to this edge a little bit. It might be a little hard, but Oh, oh, oh. So that's what I'm trying to avoid, is it moved. Well, let's just see how bad it is. It's okay. We can go with the flow here. And I don't know how it's going to look. I might want to redo it. I don't know. This is one of those moments. So I'm bumping up to the edges here so it does look like a piece of paper. And that's what it looks like. I'm digging it, folks. Now right here, I can fix this little spot right there. I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that. It's slight. It's just the edge. And that's fine. Oh, hi, Susan. I think that's your first time in chat. Welcome. So I think that is a lot of fun. I might want to do that in more spots. I like the worn away kind of look. I can even fill it out if I wanted to. I can go back and play with that. But you always want to wipe off your stencil before you use it again, because it'll, with pastel, it can be a little finicky. So I'm gonna make sure I put that in a spot. So I wipe that down. But yeah, so you can at least get to see where we're going with it. And you know me, I won't leave it just like this. I still got to put dark holes in all of this. We got so much to do. I hope you'll come by on Thursday, where I'm gonna bring this piece up to a finishing stage, and you get to see me bring these frogs to life. Everything needs more layers, more light, more detail, and then I'll start merging these little worlds together. So this has been great today. Let's see, Susan, thank you so much. Peg likes it. Thank you. Glad you guys got to vote on it today. And I'm really excited to kind of show you how I'm going to bring these focal points out of the piece and really bring out the frogs and the depth. And this, I got to put the yellow and the green in there. I think that's going to tie things together. Oh, April, I got a bravo. Thank you. Thank you, Agnes. Thank you, everybody. All right, guys, it's been a great turnout today. I will see you on Thursday. And of course, if you're watching the replay or you're here right now, liking the video really helps me out. Commenting on the video after the live. I always love to hear what you have to say, where you're from. I would love to connect with you. So Janelle says bye. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kez. If I try watercoloring, but this popped up and I had to join. I'm glad you came, Susan. Maybe I was watercoloring for 10 years, and then I found PanPastel, and a light switch went on, and I haven't looked back since. So you never know, the universe might be making our paths cross for a reason. All right, Jessie, thank you so much. She says, I can't believe you haven't done frogs before. Oh, that's really sweet. Bye, Kez. You have a great day. I know your day just started. Regina, thank you so much. Thank you, Susan. Good. If I inspire you to try, then my job's half over. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you on Thursday. Thanks for being part of this amazing community, and I really appreciate you. So bye-bye.